Alright, man, so we're here at In the Garage. Our next guest is Trey Adcock. I've known Trey for a long time now. We first kind of started talking online, through forums and stuff. It's been a while back, even before, Heather and I even moved up here. So then after we moved up here, I was kind of like looking for people to chill and hang out with or whatever. And then so we met up in person and hung out, and that's been almost 5 years ago now, man. So it's been a minute. So I kind of informally introduced you. So just tell me a little bit about you, man. Kind of where you're from, that sort of thing.
Well, I'm from the area, Rankin County, right down the road. Born and raised. I haven't really left far from there, but even though I travel a lot. But Richland, Mississippi is where I grew up pretty much my entire life. I just recently moved to Florence, bought a 5-acre lot. Hopefully to build a shop on very soon.
Nice.
House. So
yeah. And then it's gonna go down.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Hopefully, if the economy does it first,
Yeah, man. So with the election back in November, a lot of things have changed, man. We're kind of in for a ride. I'm not going to get into politics or anything like that, but it's going to be different to say the least. I think the world that you and I have known, like for most of our lives, I don't think that's going to exist anymore.
Hard to say at this point.
Yeah, I'm trying to be positive, but I'm not real confident in our leadership. I'm just going to leave it at that. So, what do you do for a living, man?
Currently I work at Armstrong Flooring, preventative maintenance. We do a lot of other stuff as well. We do a lot of environmental stuff like that. But anyway, it's a hands-on job. So
okay. Nice. So, tell me a little bit about your side hustle, man.
Well, I still wrap vehicles, of course. I'll do that for anyone, as time permitting. I also will build bag trucks for people. I don't really advertise a lot of that because of the lack of shop space, obviously, right now.
Right.
But I love doing it. It's not like I do it just because for money, because I'm probably one of the cheapest people you'll find to do it. I just like to do it.
Right.
I just love it, and I like to see other people happy with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For the love of the game, man.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. I mean, it's for no other reason.
That's right. So, tell me a little bit, man, about the truck that you pulled up in, and then some other projects and stuff that you're working on, what you got in your garage at home, that sort of thing.
Well, the Silverado was a painful process for a Silverado, to say the least, but it's finally painted and everything's good to go on it. I still got to do interior on it, a few little odds and ends stuff to polish it up, but it was a little bit of a roller coaster with it for a while there.
Oh yeah.
But
couple of issues with some different paint body things.
Yeah, I don't really want to go into it.
I understand.
And blast nobody, but yeah, there was some bad there, but it's all good. I learned a lot. That's something that I don't personally do is paint body. I do mostly fabrication and custom stuff like that, so I don't get into that side of it. But I've also got a 4-door Blazer, which everybody calls the never-ending project. But it is what it is.
It's the right color for a unicorn.
Yeah, I mean, true. It's one of those things, though, man. I went into it being my first body drop that I'd ever done, and I learned a lot. I mean, of course, it's on the chassis and everything now. It's just finding time to do it. Like I said, I help so many other people with their projects that it's kind of hit the back burner, but I'm hoping it's going to make a comeback sooner rather than later, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, where are you in that?
What do you mean?
Like, how far along are you right now? What's your anticipated out date?
Well, every time I say that, it gets pushed back. So let's just say it's going to be sooner than maybe some people think. We'll leave it at that.
All right. Well, I for one am ready to see it, man. I've seen different stages of the build. from yanking the motor and different things like that.
So from moving the body with like 10 people.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Before we figured out the engine hoist would lift it, yeah. That's what happens when you don't have a 2-post lift and you have a 9-foot ceiling on shop. So,
that's right.
Hopefully that'll change soon too. So.
Well, and that's camaraderie, man. That's another big thing in the scene that we're in. Is everybody kind of getting together and help out and stuff like that. So, I know a couple of different times we've spent over there mocking up motor mounts and stuff like that and doing some different things. So that's always good.
Oh yeah.
So, who painted the RetroRado?
Oh yeah, for lack of a better term. Joe, down in Brandon, Mississippi. Katie's uncle actually did it. He's been restoring cars pretty much his whole life.
Okay.
And he used to own a body shop and stuff before he retired from that. And I felt it was somewhere close that I could trust, because but yeah, I like what it came out with. And then of course James with Hybrid Image. He did a killer job on graphics. I love them. And the funny thing about that was we spent a whole weekend with not much sleep to knock that out in one weekend. So it was a lot of crunching for that.
I know, man. It was like I kept getting calls. Hey, man, come help us move the bed. Help us do this. I was like, all right, we're on the way.
Yeah,
so
it was a painstaking process, but we got it completed.
Well, it is really nice, man. It looks really good.
Appreciate it.
So, what was the inspiration behind going with the two-tone and that sort of thing with the lettering like the 70s model C10s?
Well, I basically wanted something different. I mean, basically a lot of people call these the new body S10, and it never really was supposed to go that far. It was just a daily cruising truck that was bagged, but as stuff went on and that I had to be repainted and all this, I wanted to go with something different. I mean, it may not necessarily be everybody's cup of tea. I know some people don't really like retro stuff, but I'm a huge fan of 67 and 72 trucks, and I just wanted something different on this body style other than just graphics, because a lot of people have them, and it's hard to do a different graphic. Yeah, you can do a different graphic, but I just wanted something completely different than everybody else had. So.
Well, I know a couple of different trucks, man, have done the chrome look trim. But yours is definitely the first one I've seen with the lettering, done that way, man. That's sick, man.
Yeah, shout out to James again.
Yeah.
He did a killer job, and a lot of people think it's either a sticker or it's real, and they try to touch it.
I know.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, man, we got to have you at South Life last year, right after you got it done.
Yeah, that was
that was one thing that everybody kept saying. They're like, dude, I want to walk up and I go to feel for the letters and there's nothing there. I'm like, yeah,
exactly.
So that was pretty cool, man.
Oh yeah, and another inspiration for the build is I didn't want any plastic on the outside. Everything's either chrome or painted. So I deleted the bed rails, the gaps, all that. I didn't want any plastic on it at all.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize, man, that that's a built-in whale tail.
Yeah.
On the back. It's one piece.
It looks factory, but yeah.
I know, man. They killed that. He killed that too. So what was your first custom vehicle?
The very first one was a 95 Jimmy. Actually was a hand-me-down sort of kind of. It was like my grandmother had bought it brand new in 95. And it was it was okay truck for a while, and they used it for trips, family trips, stuff like that. And then she turned around and used it as I guess you would call it a shop truck, and she threw fertilizer and stuff in the back of it and all this stuff.
Oh, nice.
When I ended up with it, I at first was like, oh, that's the truck my grandmother was driving. And then after I hung out with some guys in the mini truck scene at that time, they were like, oh man, that could be really cool. And we ended up bagging it on 22s. I had a couple of buddies that did fabrication at the time because I didn't. Helped me with that one, and I really enjoyed it. Sadly, it got killed by a tree, but
Oh wow!
But that was my very first one, and I enjoyed it. I was like the only kid in high school, other than I think maybe one other guy that had a bag or modified vehicle. So yeah, it was just pretty cool.
Yeah, I was that guy, man. Growing up in Mississippi, I mean, we didn't call them Yeezys. back in the day, or the guys with the jacked up trucks, or any of that kind of stuff. They were just, the guys with the jacked up trucks. And me and Chris Dunaway were the only two people that had a lowered or bagged vehicle. And he didn't have his for very long, man, but we used to get into all kinds of trouble trying to get into the parking lot. We would drag because mine was static as crap, and I couldn't adjust it. So I actually got banned from the parking lot until I got it graded down enough where I could get in there. I did, man. I used to drag every day going in. Well, that's cool, man. So that was your first custom build. So what got you into the scene overall?
One guy, and I'm not sure where he lives even now. I heard he moved off somewhere, but his name was Randy Yarborough. And I was 13, 14-year-old kid on my bike. If it was a bike or a skateboard, that was our transportation. We didn't have a vehicle, and at that time, I wasn't even really psyched about getting a vehicle. I mean, I don't know. I was just a weird kid. I don't like skateboarding and BMX. That was my thing. Well, I didn't really have a
Jinkos and Oasis.
Yeah, that's it. When they get stuck in the bike chain.
That's right. That's right.
We had all that, and basically he drove by me one day and had a flat black with a rag top old station wagon, and he set the bumper down right as he saw us because he knew who we were, and he saw us and he passed by. He set the bumper on the ground and just drug it down the street. Wow. And as a kid, just standing there on my bike, I said, I'm gonna have one of those one day.
That's right.
And that's where it started. When I found out I was gonna get the Jimmy, I went up to him and I was like, man, I really want to bag something, but it's just this Jimmy. He's like, hold on a second. He walked into his house and grabbed me a box full of old mini truck, and I've still got them somewhere. And I mean, they were older magazines from when I was, and he handed them to me. And I went home that night and I looked through every single one of those magazines. Like I probably stayed up till 3 or 4 in the morning looking at them. And the next day I said, all right, I'm ready to bag the Jimmy. So that was how that started. I mean, it just stuck with me. I mean,
that's right, man. So when I was younger, dude, I was probably 13, 14 years old. There was a guy that went to church with us, and he's real big in the scene, man, scraping the coast and all that sort of stuff. Eric Kendrick.
Okay.
And he had a Nissan hard body, and he had an extended cab S10 with a snug top. And dude, it had the old, V-wing antenna on the back, and dude, it had 20-inch spokes on it. And I mean, dude, it was slammed. He had all kind of stereo in the back and all that kind of stuff, man. And he used to drive it to church every now and then. And I told my dad, I'm like, that's it, man. I'm like, that is what I want. My dad was the kind of guy, like he had a 1978 F-150 when he graduated, or it was an F-100 at the time. And he was like, are you sure? Are you sure that's what you want? And I'm like, that's what I want.
Yeah. So right away.
Oh, I know, dude. It's like it's one of those things. It just when it says and it taps you on the shoulder, you're like, you're in. And then it doesn't matter, man, how far you venture or stray away from it. You always come back to it.
I've tried to walk away. 2 years later, I'm back into getting it.
I know.
So.
I was the same way, man. The S10 that sat right in that spot right over there for 7 months with a botched motor, swap and all that kind of stuff. And then we ended up finding our Silverado, and I was like, yeah. Because I was almost done at that point, dude. I almost said, just the heck with it, and I'm just going to bow out. But you always come back.
Oh, yeah. If it's truly in your blood, you always come back. That's how you know the real from not,
That's right. Well, that's a great segue, man. So my next question is, what's your favorite part of what we do?
Honestly, my favorite part was when I first bagged my truck and we went to a fireworks show at Empire up there at the dealership. And I drove by and there was this little kid staring at my truck, and I drug it in front of him, of course, because he was staring there. And he just got all hype. I mean, that moment right there, I love it, And as far as adults, I love it because I like to see other people enjoy something like that. I mean, everybody goes to work, goes home, goes to work, goes home, but to be able to enjoy something that's not just your everyday routine or your everyday vehicle, it's just, I don't know, there's just something to that that you can't explain to somebody on the outside looking in. You know,
Right.
they're either part of it or they're not. And I just like to see that reaction from other people.
It's that shock of being other than stock.
Yeah, pretty much.
That is what it is, man. Yeah, so I think for me in the scene and doing what we do, man, is being around other people who have the same passion.
Yeah.
Dude, it may be a year, 2 years. I mean, there are people that I haven't seen since Lowdown 2-3 years ago. And then, you know, I see them walking somewhere now and it's like that span of time never existed. You know, you can just pick up because cars and stuff are timeless, man. You know, there's really no beginning or end. It's like we know that there was a Model A, and then now you got like this Tesla truck thing, you know. But it's just going to keep going, and things are gonna advance, and they're going to become more and more and more. And then we're just going to have to find other ways to modify them.
Yeah, we'll always find a way. I mean, what Fat Babs over there got the 2021 Escalade on 30s. I mean, who thought 10, even 15 years ago, 30-inch wheel? No, that's impossible.
Oh, I know. Man, when I was in high school, 17s and 18s were where it was at.
Yeah.
And then I saw a set of 20s. And man, like, I kept hearing all these rap songs. People are like 22s, 24s, and I'm like, I mean, I don't even know what that is. And then one day at a stop sign, man, this guy pulls up and slammed on brakes, and his wheels kept going, and I almost fell over. You know, and that was the Spinners. I mean, that's when we were in, you know, in elementary.
I was gonna say I wasn't even in high school when they came out.
Right. But that's what I'm saying, man. It's like, you know, that natural progression of things. It's just going to keep on happening.
Yeah.
It just will. So, speaking of shows and stuff, like, I don't want you to get in any trouble because there are a lot of shows out there. But what's your favorite show and why?
Okay, well, of course, 9 times out of 10, people from Mississippi are going to say Showfest, the Greenville days. But I will have a confession there. I only got to go to that show one year when it was in Greenville because
Really?
I was so young. I, of course, went to it when it was back in Tunica and all that. But I love that show, and I do. Like, don't get me wrong. But as a kid and where I was when I first started driving and everything, at that particular time, it was Scraping the Coast. I mean, because that's the beach show. It was from my home state. Of course, I like to support that. And ever since I could drive, I went to Scraping the Coast, whether it was in my dad's Tahoe that he used for hunting or whatever. We didn't have our truck ready.
Right.
Or whatever. You know, if I pulled it, you know, a truck there, it doesn't matter. I mean, I was there. It didn't matter if I had a truck or not. It was just one of those shows that I always went to, you know. I mean,
Right.
I don't know how else to describe it, but yeah.
Yeah, man, I started going, I think 99 was the first year that I went, all the way in through the last year that they had it, you know, in Greenville.
Yeah.
And so I took the same truck. I had an extended cab S10 that was bagged. One year it was all white, and it was actually on hydraulics. And then the next year we went, we had converted everything over to bags. I'd sanded it all down, shaved everything, primered it, and all that kind of stuff. And Showfest was a great show, man. It really was. It was one of those where everybody can just go and chill and hang out. And it was unfortunate to its demise for the area and stuff like that. I mean, you know, it just is what it is. And hashtag oh well.
I would love for it to come back, though, I can tell you that.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great, man.
Yeah.
That'd be great. So, I'm just going to go ahead, man, and drop a congratulations bomb on you and say, you know, congrats for, you know, the whole committed thing. I know that's something you've been wanting for a really, really long time. So congrats on that, man. And tell me a little bit about that and how that journey has kind of transpired.
Well, I hung around a few clubs, you know, for a few years. And it's not that, I guess everybody thinks you have to be in a club. It's not really that. It's really about just finding a group of people that you're comfortable with, that all have the same goals as you, that have the same vision as you, and that want to see you progress, want to see you do better. You know, and I didn't always get that from every club I hung around. You know, and I don't, I'm not saying that to blast nobody. It's not anything. I have friends in literally every single club out there, but it's just you just got to get in where you fit in. If you, I guess the best way to describe it is when you get around that certain group of people, you know it automatically. It's not like you have to think about it or do I really want to? You know, you just know. And I mean that's kind of the way this was. I've been around some of these guys a while, but just going to shows with them and stuff is way different than any other club I've hung around, and yeah.
Well, that's awesome, man. So I really don't have a whole lot else to cover, man, but I'm going to ask you, you got anything else up your sleeve for the rest of this show season or next?
I'm not sure about this show season as far as bringing out something new, like complete build, but I do have something cool coming up, but
nice.
I'm trying to hold off on building it until I get this house or whatever built, because that building supplies they keep going up. But
yeah.
But yes, I do have something cool in the works. I'm hoping.
All right.
Started on.
You heard it here first. So I'll also give you guys updates on that and stuff, man, and possibly do some kind of debut or reveal at some point, man. So I appreciate you being on the show, man. Thanks for taking the time, cruising over, and letting us hang out for a little while and ask you some questions, get to know you. I'm going to upload all this and get it put out sometime tonight.
Okay.
All right, man.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.